Hello everybody and welcome back to Performance on Wheels. We bought a 2015 Jaguar F-Type R and within 24 hours of ownership, it broke.
What do you think of the new do?
Not bad.
Summertime, baby. What do you got? Look at that. Haircuts by Dad. Hashtag Corona.
Yeah, not bad.
So guys, in this video today, we're going to talk about some of the issues we've had with the car. It made its first trip to the dealership and it was ready to do so 24 hours after ownership. We'll tell you what that was. There was actually 3 repairs that took place on its first trip to the dealership.
And wasn't it like a substantial amount of money too?
Yeah, we'll get to that, tell you the dollar amount, and that is part of the video. We're going to tell you about the certified pre-owned warranty, if it's something that's valuable, if it's something that's going to make sense for you, if that's something you're going to look for if you're in the market for one. We're also going to talk about the dealership experience, a few of the features we found on the F-Type that just didn't know, had to hit some buttons and whatnot to figure them out. And I think that'll more or less wrap up what this video is all about.
Yeah, we're pretty much 2 months into ownership, so let's talk about how it's been.
Put about 3,000 miles on it. Let's get started. All right, guys, so let's take this back to the beginning. Bought the car down in Texas, drove it home that next day up to the Minneapolis area. I drove 14 and a half hours straight. Got home about midnight. The next morning, I woke up to the first flaw on the F-Type that was not there when I purchased it. We're looking at the car and showing it to you post-repair, but take a peek at what we're talking about right now.
This is the trim piece we are talking about. As you can see, it is peeled up on the bottom here.
Brought this up to my salesman down in Texas immediately, obviously, and it didn't even bother me. I just wanted to bring it to their attention because I had that certified pre-owned warranty. Therefore, I thought, nothing to worry about, it'll get dealt with. I just bought this nearly $50,000 certified pre-owned, top tier flagship car, F-Type, the most beautiful car on the road. So when I walked out to the car that next morning and saw the trim curled up, it did take me back a little bit.
What do you think caused that?
It might have had something to do with the climate change, possibly. I mean, I went from 70 degrees to 30 degrees.
Didn't go to Mexico or anything?
There might have been a detour to Mexico, and there might have been some excessive speeds, but that's not for sure. No one knows about that.
Yeah, not the average speed of 90 plus on the way to Texas.
The average speed on my trip was 80 miles an hour.
Okay.
So anyways, I reached out to the dealership. Wasn't a big deal. They said to go to my local Jaguar dealership and they would address it for me. I went to that dealership that first Monday, so within 48 hours of owning the car. Walked in there with my chest out, all proud that I had a certified pre-owned warranty. Lo and behold,
weren't wearing that shirt, were you?
No.
You didn't have the nipples pointing out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey. I walked in there and the service advisor went to his desk immediately and pulled out this stack of papers related to the certified pre-owned warranty, and on that first page was everything that is not covered. That was a very brief visit to the dealership. As they said, any exterior trim, any exterior plastic is not part of that certified warranty.
And then you got a quote for $1,800.
Exactly, which I brought up to the dealership down in Texas. $1,800. Are you guys done throwing up in your mouth yet? Because it still catches me by surprise for this little black thing. Welcome.
It's like a third of the price of the car.
Welcome to British cars, I guess. Hello. Welcome to ownership. Here's your $1,800 bill. Obviously, that didn't sit well with me. I brought that up to the dealership in Texas, and they're like, hey, sorry, man. Can't help you. Wish we could. Best of luck to you. Thanks for buying your certified pre-owned car with us. I wasn't accepting that. I continued to pursue the dealership, and I more or less just got the silent treatment. I went to JLR on the national level, and what they did is they opened a case against it. They asked some questions and whatnot, and what they called it was a goodwill repair. And I was even told that they did not want their flagship vehicle driving down the road in disrepair. So they offered to pay 60% of the repair. I still wasn't willing to pay the remaining $600 or whatever it came out to. So I again had to go around my salesman, is how it eventually got resolved. I went directly to the management group at the dealership, and within a week the car was repaired. It does not end there, however. Take a peek at what else was done underneath. On to the next item, and I have been more or less waiting my entire life to say this on camera, and today is the day. I have a leaky rear end. So that is it. My rear end is leaking, and this just started about a week ago. It's not physically dripping, it's just more of a oozing. I have not dug into this rear end too much, but what I see here is a electronic device, so I would say this has something to do with that electronic rear differential, and this is where it appears to be leaking from. We're going to show you intermittently throughout this video some of the flaws, some of the quirks we found on the F-Type in our first couple months of ownership. But I'm also going to tell you about the dealership experience. What was the first luxury brand dealership you went to?
Maury's Luxury Auto, so Aston Martin and Bentley.
Okay. The first one where I actually had service at was a Mercedes dealership.
Yeah.
And they do a good job of getting you accustomed to the luxury brand. It's the next level of service.
Yeah.
They know you by name. They treat you well. You can have a fancy cappuccino, a bowl of cereal, a little personal soda, go shopping in their store, maybe get a pedicure, massage, whatever the case may be. It's a different level of experience.
Yeah, it's super cool. I remember the first time we went into the Mercedes dealer and hopped out of our GLC, and he instantly knew your name. Thought that was pretty cool.
It is cool. Having a lot of fun conversations with them. A lot of the people are car people. There are certainly people that aren't.
You know what I found really cool? When we first pulled up to the Jaguar dealership, which we'll show right now.
Look at that 2021 R right there. Look at this.
So after we got out, walked up, sort of saw the place for the first time, we actually had a very, very good conversation with the shop foreman who was sitting right there.
It was clear he was a brand enthusiast, and he had been working for him for years. We talked about his S-Type R that he had. He had a XK as well, and we just talked about some of the fun cars that they have produced over the years.
And it's a really cool experience you have when you go to a dealership like this. You pull up to the GM dealership, and I can promise you that will never be happening. You can enjoy your bag that you dip in your plastic and styrofoam cup, and that will be your drink while you wait hours for your vehicle to be serviced.
It's a far cry from back in the day, sticking a quarter into a vending machine, you probably don't even remember this, and getting your styrofoam glass or paper glass that had a game of poker on it, and you had to look underneath to see what your play card was or whatever. In the same machine, you could get hot chocolate, coffee, broth. So now we have a whole new level of experience at dealerships.
The first thing I did when we pulled up, I went into their large Starbucks thing. I got myself a nice hot chocolate as we walked through their beautiful showrooms to see every car in their show floor. That I don't think there was one that had under an $80,000 sticker.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's just part of the, you're a car enthusiast, you like going to dealerships, checking out new cars, and there's just the next level of service, hopefully, with the dealership when you get into the luxury brands versus a Chevy dealership with 2-day-old coffee waiting out for you.
Yeah.
Here's two quick features that we have found on the car. You can turn on the rear view camera at any speed, whether you're going 70 miles an hour down the freeway, 20 miles an hour down the freeway, it does not matter. I also knew that the car had front sensors. I, however, didn't know that I actually had to turn the front parking sensors on until I read it on a forum. So my back sensors are always on, but in order to get my front sensors on when I'm pulling in somewhere, this physically has to be on. And then it'll give you this screen, which will tell you I'm about to, no, it doesn't work. There it is. You gotta be really close for that thing to trigger. Look at how close I am to this.
So you flew to Texas to buy a Jaguar F-Type R, even though within 40 miles of our house, there was one that was the same color, with the same interior, with what? Little bit more miles, like 800.
It had less miles.
It had less miles.
It had 6,000 less miles.
It was very similar in price, and it had the $13,000 carbon ceramic brake package. But you got this one.
I did. I went to Texas instead of driving down the road to the local Ford dealership. A lot of that, well, just go out and say it. I didn't like how I was treated at the Ford dealership. They told me I had to put money down and I had to have a deal in place for them to even pull the car outside and for me to go for a drive in the car. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Forget you. They also would not negotiate where I wanted to buy the car. I knew exactly with tax, title, and license where I wanted to buy the car. So that's where this came into play. And the additional thing is I got the certified pre-owned warranty. Let's talk about that right now. So with that certified pre-owned warranty, what exactly do you get? The dealership goes for a 165-point inspection. Now you have to realize not all 165 points carry over to every car. A lot of them are things such as a convertible top, for instance, or if equipped options. But it does give you a sense of security if you are buying a used car. And what I mean is it starts off with the first things on that list being vehicle eligibility. Was the car made in the US? Is the mileage accurate? Do you have 2 sets of keys? Do you have an owner's manual? You know, all these things that add up to knowing that it was a good car. Now also the one I bought in Texas was a 1-owner vehicle, while the one in Minnesota was a 3-owner vehicle. I like to be able to put a story behind the car I purchased for when I go to sell it. The vehicle that I bought in Texas was owned by a lady who was trading it in, purchasing her 4th F-Type. She was clearly a fan of the car. She knew what the car was about, and I can guarantee you she treated it well. Another good thing about the certified pre-owned warranty is they have to bring the car up to anything that is out of spec. In my instance, it was due for service, so the 30,000 mile service was performed. The back tires tread was underneath what the requirements were. So I got the P0s brand new under that certified pre-owned warranty. In addition, they go through and they check every option the car has. So it gives you a sense of accomplishment when you drive that thing off the lot. From the navigation to the deployable spoiler to the air conditioning, the seat adjustments, everything has gone through to verify that it works. So let's fast forward to picking up the F-Type almost a week later. Dropped it off on Tuesday, picked it up on Monday. We had that 2020 Discovery Sport in the top trim level as a free loaner. Another perk of having that luxury brand. Now when that certified pre-owned warranty, when it expires, I fully intend to service the F-Type myself, take on any repairs myself, because I'm not gonna pay, get ready for this guys, between $4,000 and $5,000 is what the bill would have been on these simple repairs if I did not have that certified pre-owned warranty. Let's take a peek and understand this repair that we got done at the dealership. So the actuator housing for the electronic rear differential is what was leaking. So it was seeping out of this actuator housing, putting some fluid all over there. It's my understanding, and what I was told from my notes from the dealership is there's really no new parts involved other than some new seals. I can obviously see that I have a fresh drain plug, and I did confirm that I obviously got new fluid as well, so that could be an added perk right there. I'm not 100% sure if I can chalk that up as a win, however, because I was told when I bought the car in Texas that all of the 30,000 mile service was performed. Part of that would be the rear differential oil. So did I just get my rear fluid changed 3,000 miles apart? I'm not 100% sure. Let's understand how that is done, however. They actually remove the exhaust system starting here, remove the brackets working back to that rear differential, and they fully drop that differential out of the car. Now, I dropped the car off on a Tuesday and I picked up the car the following Monday. This part of the project, I believe, was 2 days for them. It was covered under that certified pre-owned warranty. I don't know the exact cost. I was told between $3,000 and $4,000, including the O2 sensor. Let's talk about that real quick. I had that check engine light on. I did not expect this to be covered under the certified pre-owned warranty at all. I personally diagnostic with a reader, and it said bank 2, position 3, which I'm glad they did cover it, because when I was reading which side the bank was, I actually had it backwards. At least judging by the O2 sensor that they changed. I was thinking here in America, it was the passenger side of the car was bank 2. However, they replaced the O2 sensor on the driver's side of the car, is where I have a shiny new O2 sensor. And there are 3 of them. We have one directly on the side of the cat. There's one just in front of that, and the ones back here that are super easy to get to are your third. 6 total O2 sensors on the Jag F-Type. I'm learning that a lot of people do this as a maintenance item, that these cross bracing and all the bracings for the rigidity of the F-Type are known to not have the greatest protective coating on them from the factory. A lot of people take it upon themselves to drop these, take a little rattle can time, freshen them up, make them look good. Now, most of the population is never going to see it, but as a car enthusiast, doesn't matter if it's on the bottom of your car or the top of the car, you want it to look nice. When I was looking at this on the forum, there was a lot of people that were confusing their rear end leaking with the exhaust soot that you see. Now, I've read and I've heard that this exhaust actually has some small holes in it to let some of that condensation and moisture drip out. I don't see them where those holes are located myself. However, you can obviously see we have some soot coming out of where the clamps are in the back here. Let's take a break from all that nonsense just to show you some other things we've noticed in that first couple months of ownership with that F-Type R. This is something I fully believe with. I've read it in the forums, and my opinion is the same. The F-Type may not be the best built car out there, but it is definitely the most fun. Let me just show you a couple examples. This body line, if you get a straight on shot here of the hood, depending on how you close the hood, what day of the week it is, this may or may not match up. Also, along those same lines, in the back of the car, we can see where the rear valance is, and I noticed this on a couple, that there's just this gap in loose plastics. And just one last example on that regard is just kind of how flimsy some of the stuff is. So you could say it's like a fancy Corvette, but I can guarantee you when you put this in up against a 911, you're gonna have more fun driving this car. I'm not afraid to admit it, that 911 is a better built car, both in the refinements and the overall construction of it. So there are a lot of limitations that come with that certified pre-owned warranty. Overall, I would still highly recommend it. Guys, it's an extension of the factory pre-owned warranty. There's still no deductible. It's fully transferable if you sell the car with minimal work at all. It's with the VIN of the car, and you get those perks of that luxury dealership. The one thing to keep in mind is it's 7 years or 100,000 miles of when the vehicle was first in service. So in my case, this was actually a demo briefly. So the car was in service in 2014. That means I get approximately a year and a handful of months of that extra layer of protection before it runs out and I'm on my own.
I find it super weird that there's no dipstick to check your oil. I kid you not, the only way to check your oil in the F-Type is through this center infotainment system. You can only check it after the car's been sitting for so long, and it'll tell you what percentage your oil is at. Like, who thought of that? That is not smart whatsoever. What if that sensor goes out but doesn't read on the check engine thing, and next thing you know, you're driving at 100% oil life when you got a quart in a car that requires 10.
One other thing I didn't realize until last night, and it actually makes the car look pretty darn cool at night. You know those little reverse lights down there? Both sides then turn into the fog lights. Take a peek at it. Those rear fog lights for British and German people. Why don't we do that on American cars?
For $800 more than that repair, you could have one of the most fun cars you could possibly find. That thing will put the biggest smile on your face.
Lies! Lies!
Race you on the roundabout. So, do we regret buying a supercar that broke within 24 hours?
Absolutely not. I don't at all.
I don't either.
And it goes into the previous comment about this isn't the best built car. Like, it's got trim pieces that are going to curl up on you, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
But this thing is so much fun to drive. I love the personality that it has and just the excitement that you get from driving it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that, like, it's got dynamic mode, but I think of the exhaust valve as a whole nother driving mode. I think it changes the car's personality that much.
It's so true.
That it's like, it's a part of a driving mode.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video on Performance on Wheels. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below what you guys think of our F-Type breaking that quickly. Be sure to check out some of our other videos, like when we first got it right here. Subscribe right here. My Fiat 500 Abarth, that's more fun than this right here, as well as our AMG right up there. Have a nice day, guys.